Hello, this is Bonnie Calcagno. I've been a whistleblower, government gang stalking whistleblower since 2006 because I've been gang stalked for 20 years, and most recently in the last couple of years what has happened is that I am being attacked with, I call them infrasonic weapons. You can read about them on the net. By microwave weapons, by directed energy weapons. I live in a twin house, and if you're a government gang stalking target, you don't buy a twin house because it has an attached wall. And what they do is they go in an empty space. I have that twin house attached to me is empty, so they could put a weapon in there. You don't live in an apartment because the apartment next to you can be the source of an attack. And even if you peer out your window and you see a big truck, that might also be the source of directed energy, microwave, or infrasonic attack. But now getting back to what I'm going to do. All right, so over here I have my website, which I can no longer afford to maintain, and so I can see it, but you can't because it's not published. And what I've been doing is just randomly picking a month, and I haven't previewed this. I just picked September. I just looked at opened it, seemed to have the pictures I wanted. So today we're using September 23. And what I do is I scroll down. All right, so let's do that. All right, let's get this out of here. Okay. All right, now what's happening? Okay, are they letting me scroll down or are they not letting me scroll down? Are they letting me? Okay. Can I scroll down? Because this is what they do. All right, they're not letting me scroll down. All right, let's see. Okay, I can't scroll down. All right, so they're preventing me from scrolling down. Okay, let's see, are they letting me scroll down? Let's see if I can scroll down to the pictures. Okay, we'll start here. Here's where the pictures start. But before I do, I just want to read you a couple of things, okay? So let me go over here and just get my notes, and I'll just read you a couple of things. All right, here's thing one. And this is about Beatrice Golem, who is a medical doctor right here in San Diego County. And I'll just read you this one sentence. It says, "Many scientists have theories, but Dr. Beatrice Golem, director of the Golem Research Group and professor of medicine at the University of California, San Diego, knows what is going on. Radio frequency radiation, the networks call it, pulsed energy, is being used as a weapon." And she really has become now the authority on Havana syndrome. So what she says is now, she's kind of the definitive expert. And she is saying that they are being attacked with radio frequency radiation, pulsed energy. All right, so I wanted to read you that. Let's go to another thing I want to read you. Just going to throw that paper down. Let's read another one. Okay, I wanted to read you this. In 2001, then Representative Dennis Kucinich introduced legislation to ban the weaponization of radiation, electromagnetic, or other energies against people, but it was dropped following media derision. So here is this very prescient member of Congress, Dennis Kucinich, in 2001, who would have prevented the directed energy attacks, the microwave attacks, the infrasonic attacks that cause extreme vibration, intolerable vibration in the body. He would have prevented it if Congress had listened to him and had legislation against these weapons. Congress, get your head out of the sand and protect citizens against directed energy weapons, against microwave weapons, against infrasonic weapons. All right, let me read one last thing and then we'll start our show. Okay, and this is in the news today. And veteran journalist Elisa Valdez Rodriguez, who last week revealed she was fleeing the country after claiming to have been targeted by a direct energy weapon attack linked to her reporting on Jeffrey Epstein. She said Saturday that the alleged attacks have since left her permanently injured. We should all understand this is real. These are the most cowardly weapons ever created, Valdez Rodriguez wrote in a social media post on Substack Saturday afternoon. They attack you at your most vulnerable and trusting, in your home, in your bed, and do not kill you right away. You know who would know about that? Dr. Raynude Kilday, who actually found the government gang stalking manual. She was married to a diplomat. She was a doctor in Finland, and they would go to international conferences. And she actually found the government gang stalking manual at one of these conferences. She published it in one of her books, and she died of multiple tumors throughout her body. This is a doctor who should have suspected or known something was going on. Her friends say that she was murdered. All right, so what you can do is look up Elisa Valdez Rodriguez. She was a veteran journalist. She is. She left the country because she claimed that she was being attacked for her investigative journalism. She also wrote about those missing scientists. So she's no longer in the United States because of directed energy attacks. Congress, we need, and whenever if you go on the net and if you read about directed energy, or if you read about infrasonic weapons, or if you read about microwave weapons, there'll be a sentence in there that will say ordinary citizens need to be protected against covert attacks. You know, it's just common sense. People that know these weapons, you go on the internet, you read articles about them. All right, now let me give you my third installment of proof that government gang stalking is taking place. It takes place on entries and exits. So I buy lotto tickets on my way to Walmart all the time, and this is one of the gas stations I frequent. And so here I am coming out of the gas station as our gang stalking police are coming in. This tactic is called same time exit entry. It's a government gang stalking tactic, and that's what I'm trying to show you is from my website proof. Now, okay, I just want to make sure that they're going to allow me to do this. Okay, so here is the police SUV coming in, same time exit entry in gang stalking. This is how they mob you. There have been many books written about mobbing. All right, let's go down again. So here he is, wants to get right in my face because I'm coming out of the store. All right, so that's picture one. All right, then the police SUV that came in right after I parked stood by the exit of the gas station. So I have to leave the gas station, and so our gang stalking police stood right at the exit of the gas station as I'm trying to leave, going to Walmart. All right, let's go up to the next picture. Here, as I take my brother out of the car to go into Walmart, a red car passes in back of us. All right. You saw this on the other two installments of evidence of government gang stalking. It's called same time exit entry. Here I am. I'm on the passenger side. I'm helping my handicapped brother to get out of the car. And as I do so, a red car passes behind me. Now, the anchor used in my gang stalking is red. But that's not the only anchor that they can use. The word anchor comes from neurolinguistic programming, and this PSYOPs program, government gang stalking, is based on neurolinguistic programming. And an anchor is a stimulus that everybody uses, all the gang stalkers use. In my case, it's the color red. They wear red, they have red cars, but that's not the only anchor. And in my own gang stalking, throughout the 20 years, they've used other colors. They used yellow, they used green, but I didn't pay attention to them. And when I didn't pay attention to them, they went back to red because they're narcissists who want attention. So this is my anchor, but it's not the only anchor that they can use. What you find in government gang stalking is a repetitive pattern. In other words, behavior is random, but government gang stalking isn't. There's a repetitive pattern. I come out of my house, a person in red comes out of their house. That's the way it started when I lived in Newburgh, New York 20 years ago. But in my neighborhood, it's not like that anymore. I come out of my house, they come out of their house. Same mobbing, but they don't wear red. But once they go into the community, they start wearing red. All right, so let's go to the next picture. And here we are in our car, ready to go after shopping at Walmart. So let's look at this picture, okay? The parking lot is empty, but what you will see is a person with something red, because they not only use cars, but they could be wearing red. They just have to have red. Okay, so notice that in this empty parking lot at closing time at Walmart. Okay, let's go to the next picture. All right, again, the orchestrators of government gang stalking obstruct my ability to log into my website. All right, do they do things like that? Yeah. Do they do electronic harassment in my home? Yes. Do they open and close my dining room lights when I'm trying to sit down to eat? Yes. Do they do that in the kitchen? Yes. Do they interfere with my television set? Yes. Did I have to take the electric door opener off my garage because they kept opening my garage all the day and night? Yes. So they do lots of electronic harassment. They do noise harassment surrounding your house, but I'm showing you just the mobbing harassment. All right. 1 of 5 pictures. As we pull into the parking space where we park 90% of the time when we come to CVS, a red car with its lights on is in back of us. All right, so here I am going to CVS. Okay, there's my gray car. I just pulled into the parking lot, and this is called same time exit entry government gang stalking. I pull in, they pass by. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's look at this picture. As we go to enter CVS, a man with a bike is in front of the entrance. And can you guess the color of the bike? It's red. All right, this is a person, so let's take a look at the caption. As we enter the Winco parking lot, a person in red is here. All right, so let's just take a look at it and see if you can see it. All right, I'm having a hard time scrolling, but okay, let's take a look. Here I am entering the parking lot, and there's a person wearing red. You might say, who are these people? Well, a lot of gang stalking targets say they're InfraGard. A lot of gang stalking targets say they're Citizen Corps. I, for a long time on my websites, have said they're neighborhood watch groups. And the reason I say that, when my little beautiful poodle was alive, I would take my dog and my brother, who has a profound mental handicap. He has Down syndrome, but he's at the lower continuum. He has no self-care skills. So I would take them out for walks every day, and we would walk in the neighborhoods in Oceanside and Carlsbad, and we were gang stalked in every neighborhood we went in. And I also noticed that on the corners, houses on the corners had a red car parked in their driveway, kind of on the corners. This was like, and when we passed apartment buildings, there would always be a red car parked at the end. But we would be walking, and as we're passing by, a person in red would come out of a house. We would be walking, and as we went to the corner, a man with a red hat would be sitting in the yard on the corner. And this happened in every neighborhood we went. And so I say that it's the neighborhood watch groups that gang stalk. We needed, Barack Obama, but you didn't give it to us, an investigation into the Bush-Cheney administration, which we knew had many secret surveillance programs, but Barack Obama said, oh, we're going to turn the page. We're not going to look back. So government gang stalking continued during his administration, and it continues today. All right, let's keep looking. Is there a picture there? Let's go where there's a picture. Okay, let's go to this picture. Now, in the previous 2 videos, there was a lot of cars, but in this one so far, there's been a lot of people with red. All right, as we get out of our car to go into Winco, a person wearing red passes in front of us. So here we are going into Winco. Just got out of our car now. Let's hone in on this guy in red. So as we get out of our car to go into Winco, a person in red passes in front of us. The other 2 videos I posted, they're on my YouTube channel, Bonnie Lee C. Okay, let's keep going. As we go back to our car after coming out of Winco, a man wearing red is standing behind it. So that's my gray car, and this is the man wearing red. So this video happens to show a lot of people in red. This is one of the ways they gang stalk I call them our American Stasi. Neighborhood watch group members, InfraGuard members, Citizen Corps members, you take your pick. All right, let's go to the next video, to the next picture. This is in September 2023. All right, so it says, one of 3 pictures. Here I am going down Buena Hills to exit my development and going out. All right, so this is my development. I'm almost exiting out. Now I want you to take a look at the person in red. All right, so this video happens to show a lot of people in red. The other 2 showed a lot of red cars. Here I am entering the Walmart parking lot to pick up a few things. Okay, this is same time exit entry gang stalking. As I go to Walmart, a red car passes in front of me. I'm entering the parking lot. All right, let's go down. This is evidence of government gang stalking, which is on my website, which if somebody like a member of Congress wants to buy this website, I don't know how you would do it to get access to all these pictures, be my guest. All right, notice any anchoring pattern as I get our things out of our car. As I get our things out of our car to go into Walmart. All right, so what I have to do is get my brother's wheelchair out of the car, and you can see a little bit of the wheelchair. So here I am getting the wheelchair out of the car, and I take a little wagon that I attach to the wheelchair so we can shop. I let my brother, who is profoundly mentally handicapped, push the wheelchair to give him exercise, and when he gets tired, he sits in it. All right, so here, as I'm getting the stuff to go into Walmart, there is a red car. I don't know if it's backing out of there. It looks a little, I don't know. But anyway, let's go to the next one. All right, this is about the noise harassment, and I'm showing you this picture. And why am I showing you this picture? This is on YouTube, and it's about the police of Stockton, California, who bought the house next to the city manager of Stockton, California. He didn't give them the contract they wanted, so they purchased the house next to him to have construction noises to harass him. All right, so this is on YouTube. They won't take it off. Some people get intimidated and they'll take the stuff off, but not this particular. It's KCRA News. All right, let's go to the next. I just wanted to show that because noise is a big thing that they use. All right, as I go down Buena Hills to leave my development, and going out, I see one person on the street. Okay, let's see where there's the one person wearing red. Okay. All right, let's go. So this video shows a lot of people wearing red. The other 2 show a lot of red cars. As I get out of my car to go into Winco, a person wearing red walks behind it. All right, so let's take a look at that. All right, so that's my gray car. And as we're getting out of the car, a person in red, I call these our American Stasi. They also drive red cars, red trucks, and use those in conspicuous surveillance. And my other 2 videos show that. But this video just happens to show a lot of them wearing red. All right. As I get into my car to leave Winco, a person wearing red comes in front of me. All right, so let's look at this. Okay, I'm back at my car, came out of Winco, and a person wearing red comes in front of me. Our American Stasi. This is total surveillance. I am surveilled outside my home the minute I leave, and I am also surveilled inside my home. If I wasn't, they wouldn't be able to do same time exit entry, so that when I go out to the door to pick up an Amazon package, a neighbor gang stalks me, and they get your neighbors to gang stalk you. Also, I always tell this story about when my dog was alive. We were inside the house, and it's just me and my brother here. And I used to tease him, and I used to call him a cat. And I said, "You little pussy cat." And then we'd take a walk outside, and as we're walking along by the, I don't know what you call it. It's by the water, where they park their boats. And we're taking along at the landing. We're taking along at the oceanside, a walk at the oceanside landing, and a lady passes us by. And as she passes by, she looks at my dog, and she says, "What a cute cat." They listen to what you say inside your house. Total surveillance. All right, let's keep going. All right, this is about noise harassment. All right, let's look at the picture. Here we are arriving at Home Depot. Okay, so here I am pulling in the Home Depot parking lot, and a man in red stands behind a white car, and you can see that's my windshield wiper of my car as I enter Home Depot. A man in red is there. I call them our American Stasi. Thank Dick Cheney for our American Stasi, and thank all the presidents since, especially Barack Obama, who didn't investigate the surveillance program that everybody knew existed, the secret surveillance program in the Bush-Cheney administration. All right, here we are walking into Home Depot. Person in red pants is walking out as we walk into Home Depot. All right, I'm complaining about something there. Let's go to this picture. As we return to our car after coming out of Home Depot, a man with a red hat passes in front of us. Let's take a look at that. Okay, this is my gray car. It's parked at the handicap spot, my brother's handicap. And this, see if I can get the person with the red hat. Okay, let me see if I can, all right, let me see if I can get that so you can see it. There's the person with the red hat. He's passing in front of us. Same time exit entry. We're going back to our car. Person with the red hat is there. Let's keep going. All right, let's look at this picture. Here I am walking out of the gas station Food Mart where I bought my lotto tickets. You will see me buying lotto tickets all the time. Let me just take a little cup of my coffee here. Okay. All right, so as I walk out of the place where I bought my lotto tickets, a red SUV passes in front of me. Let's go to the next picture. As I get out of my car to shop, a man in red is here walking into the store. So I'm parked near the entrance because I park in handicapped spaces. This looks like Walmart. So I'm getting out of my car as a man in red passes by. This is what our American Stasi does. Though I never say individuals are gang stalkers, and I used to actually put this on my website, and I would say, I'm not a mind reader, so I don't really know people's intentions. All I do is show you the patterns, same time exit, entry gang stalking with people in red cars that I have seen for 20 years, since 2006. All right, let's keep going. All right, here we are walking into the store. Now, I don't know what the store is, but it looks like a pet store to me. But notice what I see as I'm walking into the store. A person in red. This looks like a pet store. All right, let's see what this one says. After I leave my development and going out, there is only one person walking on Vista Way. So I go from my development on Buena Hills, I take a right-hand turn onto Vista Way to get into Oceanside, and as I do so, there's only one person walking on Vista Way with red pants. Looks pretty empty, nobody else on the street, but a person with red. All right, let's keep going. As I get, okay, I don't know what, oh, wait a minute, you know, that's, I know what that is. It's stuff that they're bringing me from Home Depot. Well, let's just do this and we'll wind it up pretty soon. As I get our things out of the car to shop, a person wearing red passes in back of our car. So here I'm getting the wheelchair out. I'm getting the wagon out. You can see the wheelchair a little bit there to shop. And as I do so, a person in red passes behind me. All right, I'll just do a couple more because I want to get those things that just arrived at my door. All right, let's just do a couple more. Here we are exiting the store after shopping. So and you can see, what is this that I have? I don't know. It looks like I don't know what that is. But anyway, and as I exit the store, what's the first truck I see? when, like I said, when I used to take my dog walking with my brother, we don't do it anymore because I'm 77 and he's 66, and we're not the greatest walkers anymore. But and our dog has sadly is dead. But what we would say is you pass any kind of apartment or condominium, and there would be a red car parked at the corner. So this is called anchoring in government gang stalking, where they park a red car at the corner. All right, let's keep going. Here we are arriving back at our car after shopping. All right, so that's my car, and you can see parked right next to it is a red car, a red SUV. Let's take a look at a couple of more before I go pick up what's in front of my house. This just was delivered. Let's keep going. As I go to exit my development and going out, a red car passes in front of me. So here I am at the end of Buena Hills. I'm about to take a right-hand turn on Vista Way. This is how I go into Oceanside. And a red car passes in front of me. You can see this is the corner. I can go, you could see I could go left or right on Vista Way. A red car is passing in front of me, a red SUV. All right, let's look at a couple more. All right, as we get out of our car to go into a store, a red car passes in front of us, right? Looks to me like this is Albertsons. When I go to Albertsons or any store, I always park at the corner where the handicap spaces are, so they know I'm going to do that. And as I'm getting out of the car, I can see my car door opened. A red SUV passes in front of us, and you can take a look at the parking lot. It doesn't look like there's too many cars there. And at night, you can see this really well. During the day, there'd be so many people, you'd say, oh, come on, what are you, crazy? But at night, like there's the red car's the only one there, so you could see it really well. And I go out at night because as I got older and my brother got older, he's incontinent now at 66, I have tons of laundry, tons of things to do before I go out. And it usually is at night that we get to go out, not during the day when I have to bathe him and do all the kinds of things. All right, let's keep looking. All right, let's read the thing here. As we are walking out of the store, so this is Albertsons, a red car passes in front of us. All right, so let's look at it. Here I am walking out of Albertsons that I just had a red car when I went in. Well, there's a red car when I go out. Let's see if you can see it, red car. All right, let's keep going. We'll look at a couple of more. As I am getting into my car to go, a man wearing red walks in front of my car. All right, so when I went into Albertsons, a red car passed in front of us. That's when I parked. When I came out of Albertsons, a red SUV passed in front of us. Now, here I am, getting in my car, ready to go. Let's see what's there. A man wearing red passes in front of us. Do you see? Now, why do they have a program like that? I was an elementary school teacher for 29 years. I taught third grade. As a third grade teacher, a danger to society. In Newburgh, New York, how did my gang stalking start? It was after 9/11. Lots of firemen kept moving to my Newburgh, New York, my northern suburb community. I lived in a modular development. I had bought a new modular house, and lots of the firemen were buying those houses too. And one moved right next to me. I would tell you his name, but I can't do it. And when he was throwing things on my property. So I went over to talk to him, like maybe he doesn't know where the boundaries are. Didn't say a thing. Kept throwing things on my property. Started throwing furniture on my property. So I went over, and what I did was I put up a sign, private property, do not throw things. He ran over the sign with his lawnmower, and he was yelling and screaming and had a tissy fit. And that's how it started. It started with a boundary dispute, and there were lots of firemen around me because they were moving up from New York. Then I started being mobbed by my neighbors when I would leave my house and I would go out to Route 32, which is the way you would go into Newburgh. A fire truck would pass in front of me. police cars would pass in front of me. Red cars would pass in front of me. And then we would go down to the Newburgh riverfront to take my brother and my dog for a walk. And as we were walking, a fire engine would pass beside me. And then we would go into Subway to get a sandwich. And as I went into Subway, a fireman came into Subway. And that's how it started. And my neighbors they get your neighbors to gang stalk. They were gang stalking me in red. That was 20 years ago. And the last couple of years, they are trying to get me to move, for one thing, because they always try to get gang stalking targets to move. And they are using, I call them directed energy weapons. They cause pain in different parts of your body. And they are using infrasonic, and I did research to figure this out. What kind of weapons cause intense vibrations in the body? Well, they are called infrasonic weapons, the non-auditory kind. There's the auditory kind that make a loud noise, and then there's the very low decibel non-auditory kind that cause intense vibrations in the body. The vibrations in my body were so intense a couple of days ago, I slept outside. I slept near my brother's bedroom so I could hear him, but I slept outside because in nature they were still there, but it was better in nature. And so that's what I did. Now, we have this journalist, this reporter on Epstein, actually left the country because she is being attacked. So they're attacking whistleblower journalists. They're attacking government gang stalking whistleblowers. In my case, I believe I know the person doing it because I read this article by Catherine Herridge that's saying that they have these microwave weapons and that they go through the wall and that they even have remotes. So I'm thinking to myself, hey, okay, so the microwave weapon is in the house attached to me that mysteriously has been empty for a very long time. And the person with the remote is the biggest gang stalker on the street. I won't tell you exactly where he lives, but he lives right next to me. And he's the biggest hater, gang stalker I have ever encountered, and I think it's him doing this. And I looked on the internet and I found some stories about him that were uncomplimentary, but let's just end it there and go to the next picture. All right. Here, I've opened my front door to retrieve a UPS package. So in other words, this is in my house. I open the front door to pick up a package, and they surveil you in your house. So they know when you were leaving, when you are walking to the door. They know when my Amazon packages come because they read my emails. They know when the Amazon trucks are coming because they have, they can surveil you in your car. They can surveil UPS cars, Amazon cars. All right, so here I am opening my door to pick up that package, and a person in red is there. All right, let's go to the next. I'll just do a couple of more because I want to go pick up those packages that arrived. All right, first day we've been out in a while. Here I am getting our things out of the car as a man in red comes in back of us. All right, so let's go. All right, so this looks like maybe it's Vaughn's. It's shopping at a store. There I am. I got the blue wheelchair out of the car, and as we're getting our things, I have a wagon that I shop with along. I hook it to the wheelchair. A man in red walks in back of us. All right, let's look at just a couple of more. This video shows an inordinate number of people in red. The other two videos show an inordinate number of red cars. So see them too at Bonnie Lee C, my YouTube channel on YouTube. Go to the playlist that says Government Gang Stalking Explained, and you'll see those. All right, here we go. As we're getting out of our car, a person in red is going into the store ahead of us. All right, so this might be still at Vaughn's, the same store. I don't know if it's the same store or a different store. But as we're walking into the store, a person with a red backpack walks in front of us. All right, let's look at a couple more pictures, then I'm going to go pick up my stuff in the front. All right, let's read this one. Okay, as we're walking toward the store, a red car passes beside us. All right. We're walking toward the store. It looks like I just got out of my car. I'm walking toward the store. A red car passes beside me. All right, let's go to, okay, that's just television interference. All right, just take a look at they own the electronics in your house. Now, remember when Trump went into Venezuela, they closed the lights of Venezuela. I can't have a car door opener. They keep opening my car door. I can't, make my lights go on and off. They do things to my TVs when I try to watch them. All right, so here I just took a picture of what they do. Electronic harassment, I call this, in the house, all your electronic equipment. All right, let's keep going. I used to have these magnetic stickers, and I used to put them on my car. Don't do it anymore, but that's, if you go to my YouTube channel, Bonnie Lee C, and you look at Government Gang Stalking Explained, that playlist, you'll also see how I used to wear something that talked about gang stalking when I went into stores, lots of other things. It's all at my Bonnie Lee C YouTube channel. As I arrive at Winco parking lot, there is an anchoring pattern, right? Let's see what the anchoring pattern is. Okay, so here I am. This is like there's a long driveway when you're going from the highway to Winco. So I've got to the end of the driveway, and this is a pattern that I used to tell you about when we would walk into the neighborhoods in Carlsbad and Oceanside. There would always be a red car parked at the corners. This is called anchoring. So I'm going into Winco, and at the end when I ride down the parking lot, I'm about to turn right to go into the store, there's a red car parked at the corner. This is an example of anchoring in government gang stalking. All right, I'm going to show you 2 more pictures, and then I'm going to end this. All right, so let's go. All right, let's show you this picture, and let's read the description. All right, as I get out of my car after parking at Winco, so I'm still at Winco, to my left, a car alarm goes off, stops, then goes off a second time. Government gang stalking harassment pattern. So one of the harassment patterns that they use, and also notice they know I park at the handicap spaces, that there's a red car here, but the harassment pattern that they use frequently is car alarms. So when I was in Newburgh, I would go into Price Chopper to shop, and the store alarm would go off, and that happened in a lot of stores. Here in Oceanside, it happened. I would go into, what's the name of that store, that farmer's market store, and store alarm would go off. And I would be taking my brother for a walk outside in Oceanside, and as we passed a store, and it would be at night and all the stores would be closed, the alarm would go off. And a police officer would come, because I'm also gang stalked by police, by firemen, by security guards. All right, let's keep going. Ambulance drivers, EMS, keep going. All right, let's go down here. To my right, as I get out of my car, a man in red is exiting the store. All right, so here I am, and let's see if we could see that man in red exiting the store. Okay, this is same time exit entry. There's the entrance of the store. As I park and get out of my car to go into Winco, a man in red is exiting. Total surveillance. Can you imagine, why do they have this program? You want my theory about it? In psychology, and I used to read a lot of books in psychoanalysis and psychology, it was my favorite subject. If you want somebody to do something, you get them to do just a little bit of it. And so if they want a society to listen to the government, you get them to gang stalk people. And I have a video on my YouTube channel, Bonnie Lee C. If you, and now, did I lose my train of thought? The video asks the question, how did Bush Cheney hide this program? And on the video it says, they hid this program with patriotic sounding names, Citizen Corps, InfraGard, like these are all, InfraGard is public-private, FBI, private business organization that has secret meetings, and they get people to join these things. So they're getting them to do a little bit to listen to the government, and then they got them Once you get them to do a little bit to listen to the government, in psychology it says that makes them then listen a lot to the government and not realizing that they've given up their freedom and they are now government slaves. All right, let's do a couple more and then I'm going to go. Do a couple of more. Let's see if we can find another picture. All right, lost control of my laptop keyboard for about an hour. You can imagine what they've got on my laptop to prevent me from putting in passwords and all the kinds of malware. I mean, and it's almost as if they are there with me in terms of what they do and how they block me. They can keep me off Twitter if they want to, and they have. All right, let's keep going. We're going to take a look at this picture. I haven't gone out for the last couple of days, so the orchestrators of government gang stalking have to use unremitting harassment in my home. All right, so this is just showing that I can't watch the movie that I want. Spinning wheel. This kind of electronic harassment. But let's keep going. Let's see if we can find one more red picture to end this on. All right, let's. As we arrive at the store to shop, a man wearing red walks in front of us. All right, here I've just arrived at the store to shop, and a man wearing red walks in front of us. All right, let's do one more. One more, and then I'm going to go. Okay, let's do this one. As I go to get my brother out of the car, the only vehicle riding in the parking lot is the red one that passes by us. All right, so I usually was shopping at night as we got older, and lots of work because my brother's incontinent. All right, there's my car. That's my car. I'm getting my brother out of the car, and a red vehicle passes in front of us. All right, I'm going to end on this. I wish I could tell you, go to my website, stopgangstalkingpolice2.com, but my money fortunes with the Biden and the Trump inflation have gone south. I had a lot of, I wasn't a person that managed my money, I was a person that managed my debt. And when interest rates got so high, I couldn't manage my debt anymore. So I'm in debt consolidation, have hardly any money to live on, and I had to let my website go. Now, I showed you that government gang stalking target who wrote on the Epstein files, and what she did was, right away, she left her home. I think she's in Mexico now, when she was attacked with directed energy weapons. I can't do that. I'm broke. Would get no equity out of this house. At the most, I would get $50,000 out of this house. And you don't buy anything in California for a $50,000 down payment. And my brother can't walk on snow, can't walk on slippery surfaces. And I, 77, am not going to start shoveling snow. I'm not going to go to Arkansas and face tornadoes. I'm not going to go to Florida and when we're walking have to worry about alligators. I want to die in California, not because the state is that great, though the people are great. The Mexicans here remind me of my Italian family. They're wonderful people. I like it here. I like the weather. All right, we're going to stop here. I'm going to go see what's outside my front door. The most important thing I want to end with is this. Ask Congress, like Dennis Kucinich did years ago, to pass laws to prevent these new weapons, microwave weapons, directed energy weapons, infrasonic weapons that cause intense vibrations that are intolerable in the body. It's like they can do them from 1 to 10. Some days it's just mild. Some days it goes all the way up to your heart, from your feet to your heart. It feels like your heart, you're going to have a heart attack, like you can't breathe. That's the night that I slept outside rather than sleep in the house. Didn't stop it because I was close to the house near my brother's room, but being in nature just helped. Tell Congress to pass laws so that our criminal intelligence agencies stop doing this. To journalists, to whistleblowers, and it'll eventually be to you.